Hello again. This video is a follow-on from an earlier video that introduced array lists. Here we're going to build on the previous example and look at searching an array list for an object with a particular attribute. So we'll refer back to our assessment example again. In our assessment example, we have an application that allows the user to enter the name, type and weighting of a particular assessment and add that assessment to an array of objects. And then we can display all assessments stored in the array list, not an array of objects, an array list of objects. And we can display the details of all of those assessments using our display all button. In this particular video, we're going to take a look at searching that array list by type. Okay, so we double click on our button and that brings us to our search button action performed method, where we're going to do most of the coding to search the array list for a particular attribute. What we're going to do is search by type, so the user enters in a type and then we use the criteria from that and we'll look at each object in the array list of objects individually to see if the type matches, and we'll then print the details of that particular object when we find it, and that may be many objects. So first things first, we need to give the user an opportunity to enter what particular type they want. So we'll have a string to store search type. Okay, and then we'll use a J option pane.show input dialog, which will give the user an input box where they can say what type they're looking for. So please enter the type you wish to search for. Okay, that gets stored in search type. Alright, and then we're going to simply loop through the array, taking a look at each object individually until we find one that matches the type the user entered. So we'll have our loop for int I equals 0, I less than, and in this case it's ArrayList dot size again. We could use our counter, but actually our counter is not particularly needed here because we're using an array list. Okay, so the size method, and then I equals I plus 1. Alright, in here then we're going to check if the search type that the user entered equals, now we're probably going to do equals ignore case as well, just to allow a little further flexibility. Okay, now if it equals ArrayList dot get I, so we're taking the object at index I from the array list, and from that we're going to get the type and we're going to check if that matches the search type that the user entered. So remember, we take the object out of the array list and then take the type out of the object. Okay, and then we compare that type with the type that the user entered in. So if they're equal, ignoring the case, we're going to J option pane.show message dialog null, and then name plus ArrayList dot get I dot get name, apologies, hit the wrong button, name plus new line type plus ArrayList dot get I dot get type plus new line weighting plus ArrayList dot get I dot get weighting, semicolon. So that's just our J option pane to print the details of whichever ones we find. So let's test it out and see if it works. So let's enter exam, formative, 0, add assessment, project, summative, 0.5, add assessment, and quiz. formative add assessment. So if we display them all first, we'll see they've all gone in. Exam formative 0, project summative 0.5, quiz formative 0.5. So if I search now by type, please enter the type you wish to search for, and I search for, let's formative, and OK, we get exam formative 0, quiz formative 0.5, and that's it, because they were the only formative assessments stored in our array list. So you'll see it's straightforward enough. We're simply looping through to traverse the array list from 0 to alist.size, and then the key here is that you pull the object out of the array list and then take the name or the type or whatever it is you're looking for out of that particular object. So take the object out of the array list and then take your attribute out of the object. So that's all for this video. It was nice and short. Thank you for watching.